It's cheap, it's ugly, and it's still one of the best beginner planes you can build.
Hello and welcome to Matt's Cheap RC. Today I'm going to show you why this ugly thing is still one of my favourite planes to date, and I think it's perfect for beginners. So let's go. It's a bit of a gloomy day today, but we don't have much wind, and that's the important thing. So we always want to do our pre-flight checks before we take off, just to test our control surfaces. So you'll notice on here there's no rudder, and the ailerons and the elevators are mixed into each other. So we've got up and down, and we've got banking left and right. Everything seems all right there, so let's get it up in the air. So what we've got here is a very cheap Hobbywing 40 amp ESC. We've got an ELRS receiver here, just a cheap one. We're using some cheap Emax servos, and we've got a cheap, no name, no brand brushless motor here. As you can see, it's a 2212 and it's 1400 kV. So if you want to fly a plane like this, you're going to need a controller like this, which has mixing on it. Now this is cheap, it's $60, it's the Radiomaster Pocket. I don't know why people recommend $500 Spectrums to beginners. This is fine. It uses Express ELRS, which is open source, very long range, very low latency, and the operating system on here is EdgeTX, which is also open source, and you can do any kind of mixing you want on it. So with this plane, it's got a very high power to weight ratio, so we're just going to chuck it lightly into the wind under arm. Here we go.
Timer 1 reset. And
And away we go. Up we go. Come back down again. Low down. Like I said, you've got a very high power to weight ratio. It'll climb almost vertically on half throttle. On full throttle, you'll be climbing vertically even faster. Takes very little effort to launch it too. This is one of the reasons I think it's perfect for beginners. You will notice, however, it is very noisy. You'll probably be the loudest person at the airfield. Although, of course, you can just come to a field and fly like I am here. Up we go, flip over, and back down to earth. Getting low to the ground now. Punch out before we hit those plants. Up we go. Flip over and back down again. See if I can do a low flyby on myself. Ooh, there we go. Come around, try not to disturb the birds in those nests. Flyby again. So I've also got no gyro on this. It's very stable. I don't think you need a gyro for this. It's very naturally stable. Because it is very lightweight, of course, you don't want to fly it in too much wind. We've just got a little bit of a gentle breeze today. Now, as this doesn't have any rudder, it's what's called a bank and yank plane. So that means to turn, you bank and you yank the elevator like that to turn. No need for a rudder, very simple. So even though it's a swept wing design, it does not fly anything like an EDF. you can get it very, very slow. And you can be really quite violent with it and it won't stall. Let's come round for a low flyby. There we go. So at full throttle, let's see how fast it climbs vertically. There you are. Back down to earth again. So it is just loud with the massive propeller it's got on it. But if you don't mind the noise, I think it's a really great plane to fly. Right, check our flight time. Okay, we've been flying for about 4 minutes now. I'll start to bring it in soon.
1 minute.
Okay, the wind is blowing towards me from this direction, so I'll just come round and I'll show you how easy it is to land. And when I say land, we're pretty much just going to belly flop into the grass. Just float it in, sinks in. How easy was that? Well, I hope you can see why I think this ugly plane is a great plane to fly and a great plane for beginners. So if you do want one of these yourself, you just need to go on AliExpress or Banggood and search SU27 and you can find a kit to build the airframe. Of course, it doesn't come ready to fly. You will need your own electronics, but like I showed you, you can just use some cheap electronics to fly this. Now, Radiolink does make one that's ready to fly, but I think they're charging way too much for what it's worth. I think you should build it yourself, and for $50 or less, you'll have yourself a great plane to fly. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.